Hi, our class today is going to be based in standing. Have something at the ready for a little bit of support, either the back of a chair, kitchen counter pane, something like that, so that you can just pop your fingers on for a little bit of support, because some of these exercises are going to be quite aimed at balance today, so you need to make sure that you stay nice and safe. Now, either use the support if you need to, otherwise if you're quite safe in freestanding, then we're going to start off with a little bit of a warm-up of driving one knee forward over your toes. So just keeping those heels lifting, keeping your toes in touch with the floor. We're just almost like walking, moonwalking, keeping those toes glued to the floor. Working through those feet, really push your knees as far forward as you can without lifting your toes up. Getting into a rhythm of that and thinking about coming up nice and tall so that you're stacked up with your spine in that nice waving, snaking down into your spine, so that every vertebra is sitting on top of the other and your head's back over your body and not leaning forwards like this. Okay, so up nice and tall, keep driving those knees forward over those toes. If you need a little bit of support, just rest your hands, but try and keep up as tall as you can. So use as much support as you need to try and keep your body positioning into the best possible position that you can as you're working your lower limbs. And then we can go a little bit faster. If you are in freestanding, get those arms moving. Okay. And a little bit faster still if you can. And then we're going to slow it up back to that slower rhythm we started with, keeping up nice and tall, and then just coming back to a stop on that. Excellent. We're going to have a little bit of coordination with the next exercise, where we start getting the opposite arm and opposite leg doing a little bit more work. We've just done a little bit in the opposite arm and leg movement as you're walking, and if you need a bit of support, then hold on facing that way so you can get two hands on, because we're going to need to take one hand off at a time. So going to aim to touch one hand to one knee. Okay, so just swapping over one hand to one knee. If you're at the chair, then swapping over and trying to be nice and light through the chair so that you're not actually gripping on. So touching one knee to one hand. Keep it going. Again, try and stay up nice and tall through your torso and bringing your knee up towards your hand rather than too much of your hand coming down to your knee. So do what you can, but make sure that you stay safe. And we're going to go a little bit higher and a little bit quicker if you can. Starting to get a little bit of twist in that upper body. Now you probably hear I'm quite heavy on my feet, trying to be as light as you possibly can. Try and keep that thudding down so that you're controlling the movement. And now we're going to go as slowly as you possibly can. And to work slowly requires so much more balance and control. Keep working, bringing that knee up towards the opposite hand. Well done. Couple more. And relax off. Well done. Right, we should all now have our hearts going a little bit faster, breathing a little bit more deeply. That warm up. And we're going to work through the calf muscles now as we do some raising up onto our toes. So up and down. Going to do 10 repeats of this. Keep it nice and slow and controlled. And again, you're aiming to try and keep equal weight through both feet, keeping up nice and tall. as you raise up onto your toes, lifting and lowering. Keep going. And again, up and down, up and down. Okay, so next one we're going to hold it up at the top if you can. Be careful you don't go into cramp in those calves. We're just going to do little bounces up at the top. So just coming down a little way and back up again. So bobbing and lower back down. Now bend your knees forward over your toes to stretch that out. And come back up. We're going to repeat that again. So lift up high and 10 little bobs. And then lowering your heels. Bend your knees forward over your toes. And then stretching back up. Lifting up. 10 little bobs. Lowering down slowly. Bend your knees forward over your toes. And stretch back up again. Okay, right. I'm going to raise up onto your toes now, staying up there. Just seeing if you can just raise those hands a little way up off your support. Seeing if you can balance in this position. You'll wobble around a little bit. Just make sure that you grab on if you are going for a major wobble. Don't end up hopping around the room. So just raising your hands up, just seeing if you can get that balance. Don't worry if you can't manage very long or you can't lift your hands, they feel glued onto the work surface or the back of the chair. Then try and just lighten your hands. So coming up nice and tall, drive yourself up through those toes, trying to keep yourself supported so that you're nice and in line with your body. So when you come up onto your toes, everything is balanced so that it lightens up the weight off your hands. If you're leaning forward, you're not going to be able to actually release those hands off here very easily because too much of your weight needs to be supported in that forward position. So start off up nice and tall and then think about staying as if you were in a tube, coming up. Get your balance, just have some practice at this. Raising those hands. And then replacing and lowering back down again. Balance is so important. You'll hear me talk about it an awful lot. We're going to do another balance activity now of standing with both feet as if they're glued together. Okay, now again, if you can, then we're going to raise up and just stretch up as high as you can. Keeping those feet together and back down again. If you need to hold on, then just do one arm up as high as you can and back down again. One more and then we're going to add coming up onto our toes at the same time. And down. Now suggest that you have one hand or in contact with something while you do this one for this, keeping your feet together so that you're going to raise up as you raise your arm up. And back down again. If your balance is particularly good and you're quite happy, then you can join in both arms so that you're coming up. But this is quite an advanced one, so just make sure that you're safe. Okay, so I recommend just holding on for these first few times that we do these exercises and start getting your balance working really hard. Good, and back down again. Placing one foot in front of the other. So you're going to go toe to heel in this position. Okay, now you can stand side onto your support, so you've just got one hand resting on the support, but do make sure that you can grab on so that you're quite safe. So standing with your right foot in front of your left foot, heel to toe, and coming up nice and tall. Soften off your knees slightly and standing up so that your weight is supported through both feet. And once you've got your balance there, you can pop your arm out to the side to give you a little bit more stability. And then when you can, you're looking at just taking your hand away from the support. See how long you can do it, and it doesn't matter if you can't lift that hand up, then think again about, have you got your weight in the right place? So up nice and tall, weight distributed through those feet, and arm out to the side, and then lessen the pressure through that hand if you can. If you can, raise it up, but keep it just hovering over your support so that you can grab onto it if you need to. Got to keep you nice and safe. And back down again. Well done. We're going to do one more. So keep that right foot in front of the left foot, up nice and tall, arm out to the side for a little balance. Once you've got yourself sorted out, then see if you can just raise that hand, hover it just above the support there. And back down again. Swapping your feet over, so we've got right foot behind the left foot this time, and same thing again. Coming up nice and tall, think about pushing up, puppet on a string, crown of the head towards the ceiling, arm out to the side, and then again, just hovering that hand up off the support, seeing how long you can manage. And you might well find that one side is much better than the other. I'm not so good this way around. As you can probably see my feet, my legs wobbling a little bit more. Wobbling is just your way, your body's way of just trying to find where is the safest position. That's, let your arm come back down again. And one more time. Arm out to the side, up nice and tall. Keep your balance. Excellent. And relax off one more time. Right, let's get some blood pumping through these muscles again. And we're going to work on, so actually a Pilates exercise that is a fantastic exercise. We're going to start off with your feet together and turning out 10 to 2. Lift your heels in line so that will give you hip distance apart with your feet. Equal weight through both feet. And I'm just going to turn sideways for this. Use what amount of support that you need, but you will likely to need one hand at least on the support. We're going to raise up onto your toes like we were doing earlier. Staying up on your toes, bend your knees. Keep your knees forward, push your heels to the floor and stretch back up again. So that's lift, bend, heels down, stretch up, lift, bend, heels down, stretch up, lift, bend, heels down, stretch up, keep going, lift, bend, heels down, stretch up, lift, bend, heels down, stretch up. Last two. Bend, heels down, stretch up. Keep up nice and tall. Lift, bend, heels down, stretch up. Okay, now we're going to reverse that exercise, so we're going to do it the opposite way around. So bending first, heel lift, up and lower. Bend, heel lift, up and lower. Bend your knees forward, keep your heels down, lift the heels, pushing your knees forward, stretch up and lower. Bend, heel lift, stretch up and lower. Bend, heel lift, stretch up and lower. Keep going, heel lift, stretch up, keep tall, lower. Bend, heel lift, stretch up and lower. Last one, bend, heel lift, stretch up and lower. Well done. Stay facing towards your chair with your support. We're going to keep both hands on the chair itself, and we're going to think about working these glute muscles and your hamstrings now. So we're going to start off with trying to keep your thighs fairly parallel. So as you bring your heel towards your bottom, you're going to not let that knee come forwards. So keep that knee, these two legs in line as you raise one heel behind you, and we're going to alternate a little bit like the heel flick exercise as you bring one heel towards your bottom. So stand up nice and tall on the supporting leg as you squeeze in the other leg towards your bottom, and just be a little bit careful that you don't go into hamstring cramp on this one. We're alternating one heel towards your bottom. Up nice and tall on your supporting leg, squeeze in the other leg, heel goes behind you. Couple more to each side. And last one. And relax off. Now we're going to work again through this back chain of muscles behind the leg, on keeping your legs still for this next one to give those hamstrings a little bit of a rest. We're going to work more through the bottom muscles. So we're going to squeeze these big glute muscles that do a lot of the work. And thinking about keeping your legs straight, this is a lovely exercise to keep stretched out over the front of your hip, is to slide one foot backwards. Now you're not going to lean forwards as you do that to get your leg backwards because you haven't stretched across the hip here. You're going to try and get your heel to push back behind the level of your hip here. So just squeezing those bottom muscles, really work through there to slide that foot forward and then leg backwards as you squeeze in through your bottom muscles. So swap over, slide that back heel back and relax off. Squeezing and slide that heel back. Just keep your toes in contact with the floor and relax off. Up tall, keep your belly button pulled in towards your spine. No leaning forwards, keep up nice and tall. And back, and again. Squeeze in and relax. Squeeze in and relax. And last one. Squeeze in and relax. Well done. Okay, so going on to the next exercise now, we're going to again stay facing forwards. I'm just going to turn to show you what we're going to be doing. We're going to slide one leg out to the side. Now imagine you're between two sheets of glass so that you can't bend forwards, you can't stick your bottom out, you've got to stay up nice and tall, and we're going to literally slide one leg out to the side. And then we're going to bring it back in again and swap over to the other side. Try and keep these hips level so that you're up nice and tall on that supporting leg, and you're not ending up doing this or this to try and get your leg out to the side. So up tall on your supporting leg, always like a long strut as you swap over from one to the other. Sliding, keep your toes in contact with the floor, otherwise you'll be getting on to our next exercise. And back in, and one more each side. And over to the other side as well. Excellent. Right, we're going to do a couple on each side this time, but we're going to keep the leg out to the side. So sliding your leg out, left leg out to the side, going to lift and lower that leg just a tap on the floor if you can. If you find that that's just too hard, then just do the slide out and come back in again. Keep swapping your legs over as we were just doing. If you want to go onto this harder one, then again, just be careful that you don't sort of buckle over totally to lift your leg up. Try and keep up. The important part is that you keep form. If you want to pop your if you're doing it sideways like this, then you can do it so that you're tapping on the... Okay. Cut. Restart. So our next exercise we're going to do is to slide that leg out to the side and then lift to tap if you can. Don't worry, this is quite a demanding exercise, so if you find that you can't do the taps, just carry on doing the previous exercise of just sliding out and then swapping over to the other one, sliding out and lifting. Don't forget you're going to be facing your chair so that you've got both hands like this, sliding out, and keep up nice and tall, keep your bottom in, and then it's squeezing in through these little bottom muscles here and these muscles that sit on the outside of your hip, and then out to the other side, 10 little pulses if you can, little taps. You'll feel it aching on the supporting leg, you'll feel it aching on the other side. Keep going, slide out and lifting to tap, and the other one, slide out, lifting to tap. Excellent, and back in again. You should feel you're getting a bit of an ache round there. You can give that a bit of a rub out, get the circulation going round into that muscle again. And we're going to finish off now with a little bit of a stretch through the calf muscles by, first of all, going to bend the knees forward over the toes. So keeping the knees forward over the toes, don't let the heels lift, and you'll feel a pull down the back of the calf muscle. You can do both of them at the same time by doing it this way. And again, keep up nice and tall, so no bottom sticking out, otherwise you'll lose that drive of your knees forward. Good, hold it, hold it, hold it. And slowly back up again. We're going to step the right foot forward and the left foot back so that your left foot is going onto the toes behind you. Now, going to keep that back knee straight, and you're going to lower the back leg heel to the floor by bending that front knee. So lowering on this front knee, pushing, driving that heel to the floor. You'll feel it pull higher up behind the calf here, and this is a slightly different stretch, so keep those knees nice and straight, driving that heel down towards the floor. You do have to take your weight forward a little bit so that your leg is going behind you. The minute your bottom sticks out, you'll lose the stretch, so keep that bottom forward, keep your bottom tucked under. And relax off. And swapping legs. So your right foot this time goes back on the toes, straighten that knee, and then push that heel down towards the floor. Now you should feel a slight stretch on this, it shouldn't hurt. So just hold it as if you were putting a bit of tension on an elastic band, not up against the stop so that it's going to twang and snap. We're just putting a bit of a stretch sensation on there and just holding it there. Excellent, and coming back up again from there. Now we're going to stretch out the hamstrings. They've worked quite hard today doing those pushbacks. We're going to stretch out by having the support under one hand. I'm going to show you sideways so you can see. I'm going to step one foot forward. Let's all do the left foot. So pulling your heels and your toes towards you. Okay, keep your knee nice and straight. You're going to bend, stick your bottom out on this time. This is one I will let you stick your bottom out on. As you aim your chest towards your knee, you'll very quickly find that you'll get a bit of a stretch down here. Don't worry how far you can go. What you're aiming to do is keep that knee straight. So you might find that you can only go a little way to here and you pick up the stretch. Again, you're going for that point where you're just feeling a little bit of tension on an elastic band. Excellent. And relax off, and then we're going to do the final one. Right leg forward, toes towards you, and heel down. Bending your chest towards your knee until you get a stretch sensation kicking in. Keep it there, keep those toes pulled up while you're doing this. And again, as you stick your bottom out, you can put a little bit of support on your with your opposite hand on that bent leg, and make sure that you're holding on to the support through your chair or the kitchen surface. Excellent. And coming up. We're going to finish off today with the exercise that we started with, just a little bit of getting some circulation going through as you bend, drive your knees forward, keeping those toes glued to the floor, pushing your knees forward. And while you're doing this, try and aim your knees so that they're going forwards and they're not buckling in and doing your little wiggle catwalk walk, or kinking out like PC plod on a bicycle. Okay, so try and keep those knees going forwards over your toes, up nice and tall. And if you want to, you can do the opposite arm and leg. Just going to do a little bit of a cool down on this one. Hold on if you're a little bit on the wobbly side. And again, none of these exercises should hurt. They might make you ache a little, they should make you work, but they shouldn't hurt. And bringing it down to a nice, slow, gentle arm swing. And relax off. Well done, everybody. If you enjoyed doing this exercise, class for the lower limb, then do go ahead and like, comment and subscribe, and then you don't miss any content for future classes.